sceptics, Caroline here, and just wanted to talk to you today about talking to your loved ones, your friends and family, about what you're doing with your online business journey, specifically with the SFM, Six Figure Mentors. So this has come about because I've had a conversation with my brother today. I spent a good afternoon in the pub with him discussing all sorts of things, but I feel like I'm making progress in terms of, I don't want to say convincing him, but so to take it back, so I've been in the SFM now 7 months. I've been doing this, I've been working hard for 7 months now. And in the early stages when I was trying to explain to my family what I was doing, he was very sceptical. He's very sceptical of marketers and marketing anyway, just because of his background. He works in a sort of a sales analysis function of a computer games company and works with a lot of marketers. And he's very much a numbers man. He likes to quantify things, and in his experience with the kind of marketing budgets that his company play with, and they're experimenting a lot at the moment with marketing on social media platforms, using influencers to promote their computer games and things like that. And because he can't tangibly see results, in the sense that they can't tie certain campaigns to certain people buying their computer games, that to him it's a bit voodoo, it's a bit, black magic, and he's not convinced by it at all, or not convinced anybody really knows how to do it. So that's the kind of lens that he's looking at it through, which is fine, that's his experience. But we had a really in-depth discussion today about marketing, about quantifying it, about the psychology of it. And then we kind of went on as well a lot just about money and money mindset and that kind of stuff. So bearing in mind that he's my only sibling, he's a younger brother, 3 years younger than me. We're both single, we both don't have significant others or families, and both been brought up by parents who are very conservative with their managing their money. So very risk averse, very safe, which has served them reasonably well. They've had a comfortable life, and we've had very much a comfortable upbringing as children, financially stable and secure household. But it's very much an upbringing of not spending money you don't have, never going into debt, that kind of thing, saving money for a rainy day, all that kind of stuff. So that's where I've come from, and that's very much where my brother is. And so we had a lot of interesting discussions about money and what is money and the relationship between money and value, and the point being for me is that in the early stages of my SFM journey, every time he challenged me on a question, I didn't have enough confidence in what I was doing I felt like I was having to defend myself all the time. I was on the defensive, and I didn't really have the confidence or the real knowledge in what I was doing to be able to defend myself or to justify what I'm doing. I just knew in my heart it was the right thing to do, and I believed, and I still believe, that it will work. Now I'm not getting results at the moment. I've been doing this 7 months now, and but I can see that a couple of months on from our early conversations where he was worried for me, and I can tell it's coming from a place of love. It's coming from a place where things that I'm doing are very much outside his comfort zone, and he's very sceptical, and so naturally he's sceptical on my behalf. But now I'm growing in confidence in what I'm doing. I'm able to explain bits of it a bit more. There's still a lot that I still struggle in terms of really defending, when he's like attacking me, but what about this, but what about that, show me the numbers, I don't understand, how does this work, blah, blah, blah. It's still a little bit like, just trust me, it's going to work. And he's like, but how far are you going to push it before you give up? And I'm like, well, I'm not giving up. And he's like, well, how do you know it works? I'm like, I just know. He's like, but how? And I'm like, well, because I've seen and met people who've made it work. And if they can do it, why shouldn't I be able to? And he's like, oh, but there's only a small percentage of people that actually make any money from it. And I'm like, so? He's like, oh, but that, you only hear about the ones that make a success. You don't hear about the ones that fail. And I'm like, fair enough. But why does anybody else's results, what bearing does that have on whether I may or may not succeed? If I want something badly enough, I'm going to keep going at it. I said to him, some people in 6 months manage to replace their income. Some people it takes them 3 years, and I don't know where I'm going to be on that scale. But I'm just going to keep going. Oh, but what happens when you run out of money? I said, I'll borrow money, or I'll, I could see the look on his face then, that thought scared him. Which is fine, because that's his beliefs, and I've worked very hard on my money mindset to kind of get myself into a place where I'm comfortable with, with the way things are going. But I guess the point I'm trying to make here, folks, is if you feel uncomfortable talking to people about the SFM, first of all, don't feel you have to. First of all, don't feel that you have to justify yourself. If you believe in what you're doing, that's enough. And if that means you just avoid conversations about it, that's fine. But I think as you go on with the journey and as you progress and you understand that you get more comfortable with what you're doing, you learn more, you'll be more able, feel more confident in speaking about it as you go on. The other point is, and I've learnt this as well, is although I believe passionately in what I'm doing and in the way I'm living my life and in the way I believe I can earn income and my lifestyle going forward, I'm very much aware that it's not for everybody, and that not everybody would want this kind of lifestyle that I want, this laptop lifestyle, this geographical freedom, all this kind of stuff. To me, that's exactly what I want, but to other people, that feels really uncomfortable, and that's okay. And it's about trying not to make them feel wrong, because sometimes I've got so defensive and so passionate about what I'm doing that I want to say, but why can't you see this is amazing? Why doesn't everybody want to do this? But it doesn't suit everybody, and so it's trying to put your case forward, but in a way that is I like to challenge people's thinking, and I did challenge my brother's thinking on a few things today, and that was quite satisfying, really. But we all have our own beliefs, and we all believe things for different reasons based on our own experiences, even though he and I have grown up in the same family, and a lot of our belief structures are probably very similar. We've both gone off and had our own separate lives, and so we've got our own experiences and our own circles of friends with their own experiences and so on. So, our beliefs do differ. You will get more confidence as you go along. That was point number 1. Point number 2 was don't make people wrong for feeling the way they feel. And point number 3 is that, this isn't for everybody, but for those that it is, if you don't preach to them, but just explain. And the more you practice explaining what you do and why you believe what you believe, I think the better we get at it, the better we get at finding stories, finding examples to explain concepts, then it will come. It will come with time. So don't panic. As long as you believe and you're comfortable with what you're doing, that's the important thing. And if people do question you, it's only because they're worried for you and they're projecting their beliefs and their fears and their limiting beliefs maybe on you. And it's your choice whether you let that worry you, or whether you go, thank you very much, I appreciate your input and I appreciate the way you feel, but that's not the way I feel, and I'm comfortable with what I'm doing. So that's kind of the point of the video today, folks. I hope that's been maybe valuable a little bit somewhere along the way. But otherwise, wishing you well. Hope you've had a good weekend. I've had a good weekend because I've been out of the house. I've driven for the first time in 2 weeks since I broke my foot, which is comforting and nice to know that I am mobile again. So, and it's been great fun catching up with old friends yesterday and with my brother today. So, wishing you all well, folks, and I will look forward to seeing you in my next video. All right, take care. Lots of love. Bye-bye.